Channel 2 Investigates finds substantiated claims of sexual harassment against a high-ranking city executive, but that executive, who makes $100,000 a year, is still on the payroll.
And he's being allowed to resign next week despite city policies that call for suspension or termination. Tonight, the woman who made the claims against that executive sitting down with our investigator Mario Diaz for a very emotional interview.
I have nothing to gain from this. Nothing at all. Nothing to gain. But it's time I stand in my truth.
The truth for Shadon McCants translates to an emotionally challenging chapter in her life.
I know what it feels like to be afraid, to be in a situation. And you feel like you have no recourse, you have no power. But I'm speaking up because I am no longer powerless, but that I know I'm strong.
McCants says she is the victim of sexual harassment by a high-ranking City of Houston executive while working for a city contractor. It is only now, after the city's Office of Inspector General sustained her claims, that the 41-year-old is opening up.
One of the reasons why I never said anything is because I felt like nobody would ever believe me.
Looking forward to some tremendous things in the future. Noel Pinnock.
The man McCants is referring to is Noel Pinnock, Bureau Chief of the Houston Health Department Bureau of Youth and Adolescent Health, as well as Director of My Brother's Keeper, Houston.
Young people between the ages of 10 to 24.
Pinnock makes nearly $105,000 a year with the city. His work has been honored, but his behavior scrutinized and exposed through an OIG investigation. The OIG says Pinnock was not an angel, violating several city policies revolving around sexually oriented materials.
It went from just sexual conversations, telling me how he was attracted to me, how he would have wanted to basically have sex with me, and that he had always been turned on by me, to eventually asking me for sexual pictures.
McCants does admit to engaging in acts with Pinnock. However, she attributes it to the pressure of holding on to her job.
That's the part I'm not proud of. But because I felt like I needed my job, I went along with it.
McCants points to this letter by the OIG as her proof that she was victimized. However, she says the investigation has come with a price.
Despite having the letter, despite knowing that the allegations were substantiated, he's still at work, he's still employed, and I'm still without a job.
When Channel 2 Investigates asked the health department why Pinnock was allowed to stay on board, Director Stephen Williams sent us this statement. Mr. Pinnock went on leave September 23, 2019. He is currently out on FMLA and submitted his resignation effective November 8th, 2019.
There's no reason that medical leave, for example, should prevent somebody from being terminated if they've engaged in misconduct.
Not an obstacle.
Not at all.
Joe Ahmed is an employment attorney that has sued the city of Houston in the past for sexual harassment. The bottom line for him in this case?
They should be promptly terminated.
For McCants, the future is far from certain. Her wounds are not only fresh, but profound. As for compassion from the city, McCants says it is non-existent.
This is one of those situations where compassion and empathy goes a long way. Goes a long way.
And how much of that has been directed your way?
None. As I stated, not one person has said to me, "I'm sorry that this has happened to you. I'm sorry that you had to experience this."
McCants recently was informed that lack of funding is forcing her out of her position with the city's contractor. She made it clear during our interview she believes it is in retaliation for speaking up. McCants also adds Mr. Pinnock should be terminated and not allowed to leave the city on his accord. But Sienna Jonathan, that is exactly what's going to take place this Friday when he officially resigns, some 6 weeks after the OIG informed McCants her claims were sustained.
We know you're going to keep digging for answers on this, Mario.
All right, thank you.
All right, keep us posted.